Thank you so much, Dwayne. We got one more call lined up. Tom has given us a call from Deltona. Go ahead, Tom. You're on with Larry Perry.
Hey, Larry, I just want to wish you and your staff happy holidays, and we appreciate what you do for us.
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that.
Hey, listen, I'm a former GM mechanic from New York, and somehow I wound up with a Mazda 6 and '05.
Okay.
And since I've had it, the good thing I'm a mechanic, the check engine light has been on. And I've tried, scanning and doing, some of the things it says, because sometimes it gets crazy with 5 or 6 codes because one relates off the other. So I tried to do what I can economically. But here's my situation now. How do I tell a fuel injector that's not performing perfectly as compared to a coil? Because I'm getting a shake at an idle, not consistently, inconsistently.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing you could do is try to duplicate the problem and just disconnect, the electrical part going to the coil one at a time, to see if you can find the cylinder that it's actually acting up on. This is the key to it. What'll happen in a lot of cases, Tom, is because of these spark plugs being recessed into these cavities going into the heads, a lot of times what will happen is the oil will leak around, the valve cover gasket itself will actually allow oil to leak down into those chambers where the spark plugs are located. And it'll get oil on those insulators going from the coil to the plugs, and that'll cause a misfire on occasion, And a lot of times you'll pull the coils out, and you're going to see one of those boots that are just soaked with oil. And if that's the case, not only should you probably replace that coil and, of course, the plugs at the same time, but you probably need to go ahead and pull the valve cover, cam covers off, and go ahead and reseal those as well, to prevent it from happening again. But that's one of our biggest things. When we get a call like this, or somebody comes in or emails me or whatever, they got a miss, and that's usually what's winding up happening. And the check engine light is probably because of misfire cylinder 1 or 2 or whatever, and that'll just keep going on until you actually get the problem solved. But anytime you pull those coils out of the motor and inspect the bottom of them, if it's got 100,000+ miles on it, I'd almost bet there's going to be oil on them. It's almost just that common. The only problem is if it's a V6, you got to pull the intake plenum and everything else off of the daggone motor in order to get in there to get to the rear spark plugs.